Hey, yo, my Coaster friends, Shanty Alive here, and welcome back to the Coaster Contest. We're kicking things off with some piratey creations here today with Shanty Isles, created by overcookeddinonuggies, an advanced builder. And here they say, hey, yo, Johnny, welcome to Shanty Isle, a tropical-themed island fused with lively pirate village. Enjoy the vibrance along the village dockside or soar through the tropical islands on the Pirate Cove. This small, tucked-away paradise has it all. Please check that the instructions are followed, located at the entrance of the blueprint. This is optional, but I do think it brings some life to the build. I recommend daytime for the tropical vibes of the build and nighttime for the lively side of things as well. Enjoy. Okay, very fun. Yar, mateys. Very, very fun. So you might notice that I'm in test mode. I'll explain why as we talk about it here. So just a little note to our creator. When you are running two trains on your coaster, make sure you have a mid-run block section at some point because the lift counts as a block section. So when you had originally two trains running, what essentially happens is the second train will wait at the top of the block section until the run is cleared up until the next block section, which is basically the boarding station. Basically, the coaster would sit here. Why is it not going? Oh, yes, put it in test mode. Yeah, so the second coaster would essentially sit here and wait until the first coaster cleared the run, right? And that's not the greatest experience to sit on the lift like that for a minute or so, right? And there it goes there now that that one's entered the block, the station. So just a little hiccup there. I would just say the quick fix here is just to run one train on the coaster is what we ended up doing. It's less throughput, but it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. It is just a coaster contest, but there was a holdup, and you know, obviously we don't want to be sitting on the lift for a minute doing nothing. All right, so got that out of the way. The coaster is fantastic. A single rail pirate coaster, a fun, interesting mashup. You don't really see single rail pirate coasters every day, but it's fun. I like it. It has a really good aesthetic. You had cannons going off, animatronics. You made a really good tropical vibe. And I gotta say, I really thoroughly enjoyed this queue walk through the Shanty Village. I love that the guests are jumping off the pier into the water here, swimming around in this wave pool that you made. And the shantiness of the builds and the buildings looks really great. Apparently there's like a gift shop, or this is probably where the exit would have led us to. Yep, that is correct. And we can get our on-ride photos. No pictures for the on-ride photos, but a cool little souvenir shop leaning back into the Shanty Village. Superb. I feel like, I think it was the last episode I was mentioning, we hadn't seen a whole lot of pirate in this contest. And then suddenly we got this one, and then there's one over there, and two in the last video. Now we're getting all of the pirate stuff. They're coming out, and we're seeing a lot more pirate. I love it. This is a really fantastic pirate build as well. Great waterfalls, great, just a superb amount of detailing from the pirate pack from our advanced builder, overcookeddinonuggies. Yeah, I really like it. Pretty welcoming entrance here as well, and really spectacular look at the coaster as we're going through the queue. And I also notice a great amount of the invisible paths being used for all of the pier slash bridges. I thought that was really fun. Solid queue, solid creation, and a very fun coaster and fun way to kick off the episode from overcookeddinonuggies. Keep on keeping on. All right, ladies and gentlemen, our second creation of the day is Deep Dive by mightbeokay, a builder. I do not recognize this name, probably a brand new builder to this community. And here they say, this Premier Rides multi-launch coaster takes you on a deep down into the secret underwater caves. See all the rare species of underwater wildlife, but make sure to avoid the stingrays as they can blast you out of the water. Okay, very interesting, an underwater creation. Also something we haven't seen too much from in this contest so far. Very cool. Heavy metal aquatic coaster, launch coaster. Let's talk about it. It's fast as furious. It has a good pace to it. There's some strange things going on here. It's not every day you see a launch lift like this, straight up and then straight down. We had so much speed, I felt like we could have kept going for a little bit, and we slammed all those trim brakes on there back into the station. So I would have liked to see a little bit more length. I think you could have just launched it straight out of the station, to be honest, as well. And then setup wise, this one's a little bit weird. We have some floating people. So I guess Wookie Bush, you just left your pathing here for Wookie, our creator, to set things up. And this is definitely one of those things where you want to test it and see, you know, if I download my own creation, how is that going to go into the park? Is it supposed to be in the ground? Is it, you know, you can already have a bridge here and set that all up for us, so it's just plug and play. So the queue walk, therefore, wasn't as interesting to look at, but luckily for us, you had a bit of a short description. But basically, we just walked down here and in. But I like the underwater sections. The coaster comes ripping out of the tunnel really fast. It is hugging those banking turns quite nicely. Some really decent aspects to the coaster overall in terms of speed and velocity. Pretty intense for a launch coaster. But I definitely feel like the actual overall theming, the, you know, artistry side of thing lacks a little bit of vision or cohesion, right? Definitely doing a little bit of that underwater aquatic stuff here, but on the outside we have some mythology ruins and some missing pathwork in a random pool. So it's not quite tropical, it's not quite aquatic, it's not quite mythology. I definitely feel tying that all together and creating one cohesive vision is definitely something to think about for the art side of things for a competition. But a pretty strong effort overall from a brand new builder that I do not recognize. Might be okay. Welcome to the community, buddy, and keep on keeping on. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, our third creation is another pirate coaster. We're looking at Sail Seeker, created by Neo-Mick, an unranked and now builder, another brand new community member. And here they say, "Heyo, Johnny, since you asked for a summer-themed coaster, my coaster is inspired by a festival in my hometown called Sail. Every 5 years, there's a big sail, like this year, and the other years is only the small sail. At the big sail, over 250 sailing motor and steam ships from all over the world come to our harbor. There you can look at the ships. On some of the ships, you can even go on it and go shopping at the various shops or just enjoy some food, music, or fireworks. Most of the time, there are little rides for kids. I tried to capture exactly the same feeling, but with a pirate theming instead. Even with the new piece limit, I had to cut outside, build in my half. My coaster is not quest friendly. I don't know what quest friendly is. It has too much G-forces and it must mean guest friendly. It has too many G-forces and I ran out of time to improve this. The coaster starts every 2 minutes if you want to put it in test mode. Your choice. Now for the story of my coaster. The captain of the Pirate Place Sail invited sailors from all over the world to proudly present their ships to the people, but 2 ships are missing and the captain is asking you and your team to search for the missing ships. He wishes you a safe and successful journey and a healthy return home together with the missing ships, and maybe you'll find some ancient treasure. Greetings from German North Sea coast." Cool. Wow, that is quite the introduction. Let's go. Good googly moogly. Definitely some strange coaster element choices there. We had a fireworks show, so I figured we would start things off at night, but we could take another look at things during the daytime. I will say well, there's a lot to talk about here. First of all, I think this is the first dive coaster in this contest honestly, I'm a little bit surprised by. Definitely speed up your lift for next time. That's one thing. I feel like there's a huge missed opportunity to dive the coaster on the second lift, right? We had a bit of a dive here, and I feel like we could have done that, something similar to that on the mountain top. Yeah, this cave was particularly really dark at night, so I would have punched up the lightings, but I was quite surprised with all of the detailing and interesting things in here. It's a little bit slow pace going through this part of the coaster, which I don't think there's a lot of G-force issues going through here, potentially. We can look at the heat maps, but we have a little bit of clipping there as well. And some really slow hang here, and we're back through. It's pretty slow pace though, and which would probably be quite easy to clean up in terms of G-forces. I think the culprit might have been outside a little bit, but if you're struggling with those aspects of it, you can always look at the heat maps, which we can do in a second, or you can maybe try to ask some people on Discord for some help. The community's always there as a resource for you guys to help improve and ask questions and that sort of thing. But I don't know if the dive coaster was the best choice if you wanted to, like, it feels a little bit more like a dark ride experience. Yeah, I think it's just, it's struggling with an identity pacing issue is all, right? You wanted to go really slow and methodical on the interior there, but, you know, we're diving straight into the action. So you had to slow it down a lot. And then this part felt a little bit strange to me, as I would have loved to dive down, but we're kind of just ride straight down this slope. It feels a little bit awkward. Custom supports everywhere, which is a nice little touch. But I think a lot of your G-force issues might be coming up around here, if I were to make a guess. But we'll have to take a closer look here in a sec. Some fun animatronics, big cannons going off. You had some fishies jumping, some really nice details there. And again, between the actual boarding station here, yeah, that feels like a big G-force spike. Between the boarding station and the underground cave, I think there's a lot of really good art gone into this. It's just trying to nail in, I would definitely nail in the G-forces of your coaster before you even start really artifying things a lot. But let's take a quick peek at things here. Okay, so what I would do is when you go into test mode, you can do the live data, right? And then you can go lateral and vertical G's, and you can spot where you're having some hiccups, right there. And all you have to do is really bank it a little bit harder here, and that'll transfer the G-forces down, and then just smooth it. It's a bit of a tight turn, probably needs a little bit more room. It can come out a bit, bank around real hard, and all you have to do is clean up a couple spots there for the laterals, and then a little bit there. That's actually quite an easy fix. Just smooth it a little bit more and bank it a bit. And then I suspect because some of these coaster elements are a little bit tiny. Yeah, see, they're really small. You need to spread the coaster out a little bit more. And you have all this room to work with, right? You can definitely bring the track out a lot more and maybe even just bring it up and over this bridge. That's pretty much, as I suspected, most of the issues would be near the end, with a couple hitches in there because it was moving pretty slow in there for the most part. And then we can see the vertical G-forces. I mean, it's pretty hot overall. I think it's just because you're not stretching your coaster out enough, right? All your elements are super, super tiny. Quick turns, short turns, lots of uppy downy with a little bit too much speed for all of those small segments, right? It's a bit of a knot here. So yeah, a couple things to clean up there. But other than that, like, speaking of things aesthetically, I actually really quite like this little stack you have here. I think it looks really quite nice. It's really quite screenshot worthy, right? Having the coaster here on the right with the stack on the left. I think it comes together quite nicely. So the pirate stuff is quite fun. Got the smuggler ship flat ride over here. You had a little bit of a fireworks show at night as well. No, I could definitely see that the artistry's here. I thought the inside of the cave and the cove was very nice. We just need to get you some coaster practice for the next one, right? but no one's designing coasters is quite challenging, and not everyone's gonna get it on their first attempt. So all I would say is, create one, try to get some feedback, ask people for help. I think your biggest issue here is not banking things hard enough and not giving yourself longer track segments. All these elements are very small, right? Very short and compact, where it could just be a little bit more stretched out. But a very strong effort here today by Neo-Mick. Welcome to the community, your first ever contest creation, your first ever creation. Very solid effort indeed. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to our last creation of the day, Wave Runner, created by TBKarate, a grand master in this community. And here they say, welcome to the 6th annual Rocky Shores water sport competition. Grab your jet ski and hit some waves. It's your time to shine. Just watch out. You're not the only one out there doing tricks, trying to take home the gold. So what are you waiting for, dude? Dive on and hit some cutbacks. Wave Runner is a Mobius dueling coaster, so timing is dependent on how full the queue is. If it's not synced up, wait for the queue to fill and fill up a little bit, and it should be synced back up. But you can put it in test mode and set the dispatch time to 10 seconds, and it will also sync up. Boom. All right, a Mobius style. Haven't seen too many. I definitely feel like there's been 1 or 2 in this contest so far, but I'm a fan. Let's go. All right, I just did a trial run and it definitely did not work. So we're going to put it into test mode as they recommended and wait for them to sync up here. Now it's interesting because the Mobius, you usually run 3 coasters. Okay, this one's looking like it's synced up, but you have 5 trains running on this, so kind of like doubled down, which is, it's a bit unfortunate because I liked seeing the guests. Yeah, I liked seeing the guests there, but that's okay. We'll do first person, and now that they're kind of synced up, this should be working. Let's go. All right, there it is. Very fun. Let's swap it over to night and talk about it. So normally how I did Mobius coasters in Planet Coaster 1, you run 3 trains, and that way when the 2 sync up, this one's loading up, right? And then it'll go around and wait for the other one to finish its lap. So that's what we're seeing here. That one's already lined up, and now they go. But you're doing it with 5. Which is still the odd number, which it kind of works, right? It's just you have basically 2 running on the track at all times, or a pair of 2, and 1 loading up while the other 2 are going, which definitely complicates things a little bit more. I think the issue that we ran into with it not working with the guests is that the throughput was too good, right? Because now, with 5 trains running, you're going to need a fully loaded queue because the throughput is it's just churning out guests. So if even 1 car does not get guests, it's going to kind of mess with your timing a little bit. So I think that was basically what was going wrong there, is there weren't enough guests in the queue in the park to fill them all up. However, having the 2 pairs like this is quite cool, especially from this orbit view. As you can see, we're having these dueling interactions, but then on the back half of the circuit, there's 2 more having those interactions. And I definitely understand the fantasy and how that's fun thematically, right? Having those extra cars makes it feel like there's more of these wave racers on the circuit. And I definitely agree with the decision there. It's just unfortunate we didn't have enough guests in the park interested in this. The throughput's way too good. Way too good. But I love this concept. I really do. I've talked about wave race coasters in the past. We've seen a couple in this contest, and Mobius style is a fun way of doing it as well. One station, they line up and then they go. It's pretty sweet. I think the way you've designed your coaster as well, it was very wavy. You hooked it left and right, you banked it, you had a lot of bunny hills, lots of uppy downy, lots of twists and turns, and it felt pretty exhilarating, like you would be on a, you know, it felt like a wave racing circuit. You put all these little jumps everywhere, wave pools. I mean, it's got a lot of commotion, it's got a lot of intrigue to it, and I thought it was a lot of fun. And the aesthetic of everything here, this boathouse beach area, it's also really nicely done. I really like everything you've done here, TBKarate. It's a very fun, interesting design for the coaster contest. Playing on that summer theme, racing jet skis for a coaster contest. I think you took some creative risks in having 5 coasters, Mobius style, racing through the waters, and they turned out to be very, very fun. Absolutely fun. Now, considering this is an 8K blueprint, the only feedback that I would have for you is I like this little town so much, the aesthetic of it. I would have loved to see more of it, right? I want to see where, like, do we not have the trophy winners? Okay, first, second, and third, that's it. That's sad. I would love to see more of the festivities, right? People chilling, hanging out, a restaurant, that sort of thing. I really like the small little detail that you had with this bench here, right? Rocky Shore. I want to see this universe punched up a little bit. I think you're onto it. You have a few, you know, interesting things. It's just I want to see more of it. That's all. The actual coaster really hits hard and it has a lot of fun interactions, and it's really quite a good layout. And I feel like the setting of the town in between could have been really spectacular as well. But it's pretty good overall. But definitely the shine, the hero of this is your coaster. It is a coaster contest after all, and I think that should be the focus, and it was extremely well done. So very fun concept here from TBKarate, the Mobius style jet ski racers. Love to see it. Couple pirate creations here today as well. Really cool stuff, you guys. Pirates making a comeback. I love to see it. Great creation overall. A lot of new builders here. Each of the coasters had a bit of a hiccup somewhere or another throughout this episode, but you know, everybody's learning, adapting, and figuring stuff out. Planet Coaster 2, building coasters and all that is still very challenging for all of us. So great job to all of our creators here today. What did you guys think of our creations? And an additional shout out to all of our supporters. Thank you guys so much for keeping the dream alive. That is going to do it for today's episode of the coaster contest. Thank you all so much for watching, and I hope you have an absolutely wonderful day. Bye now.